with Life Redesigned, where we grow through what we go through. And I'm so excited today to talk about something that is pretty close to my heart, out with the old, in with the new. Over the last 2 years, a lot of you guys that have been following me have really seen that gosh, in really nice words, my life has been quite a mess, my personal life. There's been just a lot of healing, there's been a lot of action taking, there's been a lot of steps forward. And within that, I really learned some things that were really helpful in getting through and not allowing my past to really redefine my future. And this is just the real basic part of my heart through Life Redesigned is really like understanding, knowing, and proving that our past does not need to our past does not need to define our future, and that we can redesign at any point in time. So let's dive right in. We are talking about today, out with the old, in with the new. What does this mean? I talked about this. I created this title because it's so important that we know that the past is in the past and that the future is in the future. And a whole nother subject is us talking about the present and really focusing on slowing our lives and being present in the moment that we are actually in. And I'm going to talk about that in another live that I do. So the very first thing that we want to focus on within this subject here is to start shaking out relationships in your life that don't bring you positivity and bring you joy. Okay, listen, I know that a lot of us think like if you are running a business or you're running a house, whatever it is that you're doing, a lot of times we will think in like productivity mode. So all we are thinking is like, I have to get this done. Like, what am I doing? And we forget to remember and remind ourselves that when we shake out relationships that no longer serve us or bring us joy or positivity, that's actually taking us it's actually taking us to take steps closer to our goal and to achieve the things that we want to achieve. Listen, if all you did for an entire year was focus on things that made you happy, where do you think that your life would be? It's not all about getting the to-do list done and making sure this is done and, being an overachiever and getting less sleep and doing the most things. It's not all about that all the time. Sometimes it's about really quiet, simple work that really launches you forward. This is one of those things. So start shaking out relationships in your life that don't bring you joy. For example, do you have a relationship in your life that has a friendship that has lasted so long, and you're at a point within the friendship saying, well, I should probably call that person because it has been a long time, or I should probably invite them to the party because I haven't seen them in a while. Okay, what about I want to call them to see how they are doing? I want to spend time with them because it gives me joy. I want to connect in this relationship because it serves me. These boundaries and this positivity, happiness, joy is so much your choice. And it's the very first choice that you need to make when focusing on out with the old and in with the new. Relationships are the very first thing that you need to focus on. Now, we might think, things like, I know, but it's been so long and I just, I'm hanging on to the friendship because of this. Or like, well, I should be in this relationship with with my significant other because like we've been dating for a long time. So we should keep going. Or I should have this relationship at my business because like we work side by side. No, you shouldn't. If it's not serving you and you're not leaving with positive things that serve your why and your purpose in life, you need to shake out this relationship. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. You need to shake out this relationship. This is a must. These are really hard decisions. Guys, this is not easy. It is not easy to set these boundaries. It is not easy to say no. It is not easy to let go. And it can be hurtful. It can be hurtful for you. It can be hurtful for the other person, but you've got to know what is best. The difference of somebody that does not have relationships that serve them in their life versus somebody that does is acting on the choice. We talked about taking action and reasons to take action. This is it. This is one of those things that you've got to take action on. You've got to not only create the boundaries, right, which they're hard, right? But you've got to stay true to what it is that serves you. So looking at the relationships, how do we do this? How do we know if this relationship serves us or doesn't serve us? When you are put in a situation with this person, do they draw the best in you? Do you make good decisions? Do they inspire you? Do you feel happy when you leave? Do they encourage you? Do they, any of those could be a really great question to ask yourself about a certain relationship. Ask yourself those, see what the answer is, write it down, and decide if it is a relationship that you need to let go of and move on from. Listen, every single relationship serves a purpose in your life. I promise you. Just because you're letting go doesn't mean that you forget, doesn't mean that you don't love, doesn't mean that you don't care, and it doesn't mean that it's not okay. It can be okay, and that time can come. Now, when you do this, when you start to shake out those relationships, when you start to let go of those relationships that aren't bringing you positivity or joy, be prepared to be tempted. Be prepared for your boundaries to be tempted in a way that they want to break, okay? Be prepared to be tempted to go back, to try again, to allow it to really truly drain almost everything out of you that it possibly can before you learn your lesson. So be prepared to be tempted. This is also why it's really important to keep a slow and steady pace in life so that you can learn and focus on that intuition, the womanly intuition that we all have, that is a fire within us where we know women have this. We have this insane intuition to go, I'm feeling something off here, or I'm feeling like something is not right here. We have that as women. Use that. It is a gift that we have. And if you are living at such a fast pace in life that you can't pay attention to it, it's really tough to be aware of what needs to stay in your life. It's really tough to understand what does inspire you, what doesn't inspire you, what does make you happy, what does, what scares, all of that. So making sure that you're constantly aware of just where you are, how you're doing, how you're feeling about a visit, how it felt to have coffee with that friend, how much time you can actually have with your family. Some of you might say, well, Amy, you don't understand. My family, my family is this and I can't get rid of them because I have to go. Okay. And that's fine. I'm not saying get rid of I'm not saying that, but what boundaries. Okay, if it's not something that you're going to let go, what do you need to shake out? What do you need to step up, and what boundaries do you need to actually have in order for that relationship to serve you? Could you set boundaries with this relationship where it's only XYZ instead of everything, right? So we've got this, I'll show you on this little sheet. You've got like this. Okay, if you can see my circle here, sorry, there's other writing on here, but if you can see my circle, this is like that circle, the dot in the middle is your core, this is your core values of like basically what's happening in your life. And then you've got all these other, this remind me of like little like lifesavers or like a bullseye. Okay, so now here's your core values, and you've got this little circle right here. These are relationships that adhere to your boundaries. They're very safe for you. They serve you. You're happy. You're inspired. Okay. And maybe out here, maybe you've had somebody in here that is no longer serving that purpose. So maybe that relationship, maybe it doesn't go away. Maybe it just moves to here. Maybe it moves to here. And maybe it moves all the way out there. Okay. Maybe there's a different way that relationship can serve you. So knowing and understanding that this little circle in here, that's your tribe. That's your tribe that you feel safe, inspired, happy with, and kind of knowing where to put those other relationships in your life in order for them to adhere to your boundaries. So back to that intuition that I was talking about is making sure we are slow enough to be brave enough and to understand and be brave enough to follow those boundaries. Okay. So we talked about being tempted. Be prepared to be brave when you go through this process. When you set boundaries and you're shaking out these relationships, be prepared for pushback. Be prepared for some nastiness. Be prepared for true colors that are going to come out. Also be prepared for understanding, but just be prepared for anything. You want to be brave enough you want to be prepared to be brave enough to have any sort of crucial conversation that is needed with these relationships that you're shaking out. Okay. What does that look like? What does a crucial conversation look like? It looks like this. Right now, this is where I am in my life, and these are some boundaries that I have. Right now, where our relationship is, it's not adhering to those boundaries, and I'm going to need to take a step back. That is a very brave conversation to have, and that is a very crucial conversation to have. Yowzers, right? Be brave enough and set your standards to withhold your boundaries. Why? Because it's going to improve your decision making. So when you adhere to this with these boundaries within shaking these relationships out, it's going to improve your decision making because you're going to get more confident and more confident and more confident in the fact of what you are doing and the direction that you are taking. It's going to, number 2, solidify your why. Our why is so important. I talked about this last week in my Facebook Live that I did, but it is so important to stay true to that. When you make it, you have got to hold so tight to that in every aspect of your life. And this is one of the ways that you're going to be tempted to shift. Number 3, this is going to create stronger relationships. By you being brave and by you shaking out the relationships that don't serve you, it's going to leave room for the relationships that do. It's going to give you room for stronger relationships within your life. If you've got a living room full of toys and you don't ever get rid of the toys that your kids play with, how in the world are you going to put a new toy in when they get one for their birthday? They can't see the joy that it will bring because there's too much stuff sitting in the living room. You've got to get rid of some of the stuff in the living room. Out with the old, in with the new. Number 4, it's going to show your commitment to taking action. Listen, those of you that are mothers, you might resonate with this. When we get pregnant, it's like this, when you get pregnant with your first child, there's this sense, sometimes there can be this sense of like, I'm alone, like my life is shifting, or like if you're the first one out of your friends to get pregnant, you're the only one that's pregnant in your friend circle. It's like, oh my gosh, like people aren't calling me anymore because I can't, I'm not going out or I'm not doing this or whatever. And you just have this sense of like a little bit of shifting of, I don't belong, or I'm alone. And what happens is sometimes you go through losing friendships, losing relationships when your life shifts. But when you stay true to your why, which is being a mother, being a new mother at that, and you solidify that, and you are brave to say, you know what, this is my focus right now. I'm focused on being a mom. So going out this coming Saturday doesn't work for me. I've got to be home with the kids. Or you just got to be home and present in your household. Excuse me. It shows your commitment to action. Okay. How many of us have ever been through something where you make decisions and then, people don't call you anymore, or you've lost friendships over certain decisions that you've made? It's because they see that you're serious. And guess what's going to happen? The negativity that is involved in some of your relationships, when you show commitment by taking action, they're going to shake themselves out. You're not even going to have the crucial conversation because they're going to be like, you know what? They're just going to stop calling you. They're just going to be like, she's like on a whole nother level. And I don't even belong over there. And you know what? They don't, because you are over here focused on your why, focused on your goals, focused on moving forward. And you're right. They don't belong here because there isn't that serving purpose of what you used to have. Okay. So number 1, start to shake out relationships in your life that don't bring you positivity or joy. Number 2, we've got 5 of these. Number 2, you're going to clean out your closet. You're going to clean out your decor. Yes, I'm not even joking. You're like, Amy, I don't even get it. Why do I have to get rid of clothes? Why do I have to clean out my decor? Listen, I promise you, it matters. Everything in our life holds energy. Objects hold energy, okay? The sweater holds energy. Why do people hang on to things that were like their grandmother's? Why do people collect these little tiny spoons and hang them up on their wall? Why do people collect these little Santa Claus stuffed animals? Because things have meaning. I have ornaments that I have Christmas things. I just took down my Christmas stuff. I have Christmas things that belong to my grandmother, and they mean so much to me because she's not here. And every time that I pull that out, I think of every time that I pull out the decoration, I think of my grandmother, and I think of all of those the meaningful memories that I had with her giggle, her laugh, the chair that we used to sit in. I can almost just smell the smell of her kitchen and her living room. And like a couple years ago, I had one of my Christmas things and it broke. And it was so heartbreaking to me because I thought, she's not here anymore. These are how my memories like actually come back. And so cleaning out your closet, cleaning out your decor, it matters. If you are if you're going through a broken relationship where somebody is moving out of your house, change your decor. Listen, put everything on Marketplace, sell it, use that money to go back on Marketplace and buy new furniture. I don't care if you lose money on it. Trust me, you're going to gain money in the future because this is going to clear a lot of your past, set you forth for the future to stay focused on your why. Nobody can be living in a house with sad things everywhere, where every time you go to turn on the light, you're looking at the lamp like, oh my gosh, I remember when we were at this furniture store and we bought this lamp and we went out to dinner and all of a sudden you can't even turn on the light without thinking about a terrible memory that happened or a really good memory that happened that maybe isn't serving the purpose of what you want. Like if you're going through a divorce and there was a good memory that happened and all it does is make you sad, you've got to get rid of the lamp. You have to get rid of the lamp because guess what? Go find one of your tribes, go find a great friend, go find a family member, and go buy a lamp, even if it's got to be used, even if it's not the greatest, awesomest lamp that you had before, so that when you bring that lamp inside, guess what you can now think of? Oh my gosh, this sunny day, I was with my best friend. It's a happy memory every time you turn on the light. Listen, your closet is the same thing. I realized when I was going through my divorce, I realized that my closet was literally like, woo, wow, did it hold a lot of energy. I'm not much of a shopper. I'm not much of a clothes junkie necessarily. I actually kind of like to wear like the same hoodie and leggings pretty much every day with my hair toppled on top of my head. Most of you know that. And what I realized, I started creating a war room in my closet full of prayer. And what I realized is I was like, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there to my war room to pray because I didn't want to be around my clothes. So I asked a couple friends to come over. She's a stylist. And I sat in my closet. She stood out and I would hold things up and she's like, that's out of style. Get rid of it. I would hold it up and I'd be like, and I'd make a face and she would be like, get rid of it. I can tell there's a bad memory attached to it. I'd have memories of shirts that I wore when my ex-husband and I got in an argument. And it's like they were sitting in my closet and I wouldn't go in my closet because I just was like, I don't want to like look for something to wear because so much of it had so much attachment to our relationship. And I was struggling through healing through that relationship. I was struggling hard. So she came over and it was really nice to have her there because she's like, okay, like we ended up finding that I had like a bunch of like paisley. Do you guys know what paisley is? Like paisley, design on a lot of my clothes. And she was like, okay, literally, like, why do you have all this paisley? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, that's so out of style and so grandma-y. And I was like, I just wore this shirt last week. And I was like, so now when I get dressed, I cleared my closet. I don't have as many items in my closet. And you know what? I tried to go sell those clothes and guess what I got for them? Nothing. Literally nothing out of like all of my clothes that were worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I sold like one pair of jeans for like $12. That's all I got. But you know what? I go on my closet to get dressed, and number one, I can know that I'm at least somewhat in style because she helps style me. And that makes me feel good, right? Because we feel good about if what we're wearing, we feel good in, and we're like, yeah, like I like this outfit. That makes me feel good getting ready for my day. I'm more accomplished. I'm more focused. I'm happier. And also I have the energy of my closet. I got some new staple items. She's like, okay, let's put these staple items in your closet that can go with all this different stuff. And I get so excited to wear my clothes. It's something so small, but I was like, holy cow, with all of that stuff out of my closet and even out of my home, it was such an energy shift for me. Okay, so I'm not saying like, you can clear everything and just go buy new and spend a bunch of money. I'm not saying that, but within reason, what is it that you can clean out of your closet? And is there, or shake out with your decor and maybe adjust with those things? So really like making decisions on what you can keep and get past. And then what you need to get rid of because they hold something that doesn't give you that good feeling. So make the decision though. Okay. You've got to have somebody come over and help you with this. You cannot do this alone because here's what's going to happen. You're like, I'll get rid of this. And then you go to put it in your car and get rid of it or something. And you're like, well, actually, okay. I actually did that when she left and I FaceTimed her. I was like, I need a wake up call. I needed accountability. I'm about to keep this shirt. She's like, don't do it. So have a buddy system. This is also going to allow you to detach. Okay. So there are like, if you can imagine strings that you have, they're energy strings. So from me to the sweater, there's an energy string from me to the sweater. There's an energy string from me to that lamp. Okay. If that has a bad memory, if that has a bad vibe, if that has bad energy attached to it, that string needs to get detached, needs to be cut. That string needs to be cut. The lamp, the sweater needs to go. Yes. So we need to detach from those things that no longer serve us in a way that we just didn't even realize that we needed. And then the greatest thing is invite in new color, new style, a new ritual. What can you invite in that is new and inspiring in your life? That was my favorite part about that. Videos, pictures. Listen, if they are not serving you, if they are tempting you, which we're going to talk about in a second, which we did just talk about, they've got to go. You've got to get rid of the pictures that tempt you. You've got to get rid of the videos that tempt you. Do not put yourself in the temptation. Take the action, okay? You don't want to be in a vulnerable moment and have those available for you and then make it a decision within that temptation that you're not happy about, okay? Number 3, letting go of the past and setting your gaze on the future. Listen, forgiveness of self starts right now, okay? Right now. Your affirmations are a must. I talk so much about the I Am app. I love it so much. You can use it as a widget on your iPhone. And then you can also, like, if there's cool quotes that come up that you like, you can change the background. And then you can also upload it to Instagram, to Facebook. It's awesome. You can do financial quotes. You can do love affirmations. It's all these affirmations. And you need those. You need those to help forgive yourself and to forgive your past and not allow your past to define your future. You cannot change the past. There's nothing that you can do about it. So we have to take steps on redesigning, letting go, out with the old, getting rid of, and being able to move forward. Okay, so we need new habits. We need new ideas. We need new scenery. We need new parks. We need new laughter. We need new relationships. All of that needs to be invited in, and we can't do that until we get rid of what is in the past. You can't vacuum up your carpet if there was so much dirt from the past stuff that you cleaned up with that vacuum in your filter. Okay, if you listen, we want to vacuum up the rug. We want to vacuum up the rug because we want it to look like a new rug, and we want toys to be played with and new memories to be made. And we can't do that if we don't get rid of the dirt. We've got to get rid of the dirt. Okay. So the other thing, I love this definition. It's the definition of insanity. You know this one? The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Listen, if you're hanging on to these things that are in the past and you're expecting yourself to be different this year, it's not going to happen. I'm going to say that again. It's not going to happen. The only way things are going to change is if you change and you take action and you decide that this is what you want to do. These are hard decisions. These are not easy. I promise you, they're not. I went through them. They are not easy decisions. There's pain that comes. There's tears. There's loneliness. There's all of this stuff that comes with it. But there are things that have to be decided in order for you to let the new to come in. We get so worried about, well, I don't know, like what's going to happen if I like do this and then it doesn't work out. but what happens if you do this and it does work out? What about the other side? It's changing that mindset and changing that thinking, right? I mean, you can choose to do what you don't want and fail. So you might as well choose what you do want. And then at least if you fail, you have a chance to fail at either. So you might as well choose to do what you do want. You see what I'm saying? So you can fail if you're like, I don't want to do that. Well, you can fail at that. You're like, I do want to do this. You can fail at that too. You can fail at anything in life. We want to focus on the stuff that we want, our why, our moving forward, our redesigning. We have to make these decisions to move forward. We have to take the risk. We're risk takers. Give me some fire in the comments below if you're a risk taker. I know you are. Number 4, hire a therapist, join a group, get yourself in community. We cannot do this alone, okay? Don't try to do it alone. Don't act like you can do it alone. We are not meant to be alone. We are meant to be in community here with each other. Don't try to do it alone because temptation is going to win, okay? Also promise you, listen, I learned, my faith has been after me for so long. And I went from like being in my faith and out making horrible decisions and this and that and this and that and this and that. And it was finally when I made some really, really hard decisions that I had a clear path of knowing where I was going, what I was doing, who it was going to be with. And some of those decisions hurt and they still hurt. And I cried really hard. And I did a ton of work with my therapist. And I joined a group with women that were going through something similar as me. So I didn't feel alone. And I was surrounded by women at church that loved on me and cared for me through that. And you know what? If I feel like I'm heading into temptation, I make a phone call. Take action. Don't sit and go, I'm being tempted by this old thing. Don't do it. Call somebody and ask for help. I literally just did that today. I was like, hey, I need an accountability person. This is what's going on. I need an accountability person to meet in the next couple weeks. Do it. Take action. Don't feel like you're going to be perfect because we don't want temptation to win and we want to keep moving forward. And the past is just going to keep creeping up. It's like, I'm your past. I want to hang out. I want to stay with you. And we're like, no. And then you're alone and you're like, well, maybe a little. We don't want that. Okay. Last thing, number 5, reset. Hold a ceremony, find a retreat, find a cabin or talk to some friends of a place that you can go to for an entire week. And I want you to go for at least a day and a half. It cannot be any shorter. I really actually like you to go for a weekend, like 2.5 days. Drive there on a Friday, spend Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then drive home on Sunday by yourself. By yourself. You're going to be absolutely amazed what kind of emotion comes out when you're by yourself. You're going to turn your phone off, and you're going to journal. If you believe in the Lord, you're going to pray. You're not going to use any technology. You're going to listen to music. You're just going to sit. You're going to read, and you're going to see what emotions come up in your body and in your heart, and see where it is that you need to take action. This reset button is going to lead you right back into number 1 of shaking out those relationships, cleaning out some stuff in your life, focusing on your future and letting go of the past, and then finding community. It's going to tell you where you need to go. That reset button is always something that you need. I want you to drop me a comment in below what you're going to do. Okay. I want to know how you're going to reset. You can't do this in an hour, people. You cannot do this in an hour. You've got to give me 2.5 days to go by yourself somewhere in like some sort of cabin in the mountains. We don't have mountains in Michigan, but two years ago, last year, I went to my friend, a church couple of mine. They were like, our place is open. Nobody's there in the winter. And I went there by myself. I shut my phone off. Actually, I shut my phone off so much that people were worried about me and the neighbors had to come check on me because there was a giant windstorm and everyone was trying to call me. And I was like, I told you guys I wasn't going to use my phone. So for like 2.5 days, I was like, I'm going off grid. And, I don't know, like I was like, I don't even know, like maybe I'm going to go home early or whatever. And all of a sudden I was there and I was like, I started crying. I slept a ton. I didn't realize how tired I was. I journaled. I had a little ceremony with fire outside. Like I wrote some things down that I needed to let go of from past relationships that I was holding on to hurt with. I wrote them all down and I set them on fire and I just let them like crumble in the water. I sat by the water and just listened to the waves and was like, sat with my gratitude journal to be thankful for everything that I had. I'm getting like a little bit emotional about it because it was such an emotional weekend for me to be able to let go. And those of you that are leaders, you're listening here today, you need this. You've got to have this for your life. This is going to slow you so far down that you know exactly the direction that you need to take. And in order for us to let go of the past, in order for us to say out with the old and in with the new, this reset button has got to happen. And it's only going to happen when you get still, when you get quiet, and when you are able to listen to that intuition created only and heard only within that quiet stillness within you and that time alone. So drop me a comment drop me something in the comments below. I want to know what you're going to do to reset this year. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't have to be next week. Tell me what you're going to do to reset this year. I want to know. Okay, so here we go. Out with the old, in with the new. Let's recap real quick. Number 1, start to shake out relationships in your life that don't bring you positivity. Number 2, clean out your closet and update your decor. Number 3, let go of your past and set your gaze on the future. Number 4, get in community. Number 5, reset. Tell me what you're going to do to reset. I can't wait to see you. I'm resetting with an awesome retreat in February that is sold out in the mountains of Atlanta, and I can't wait. I can't wait to reset for the weekend. I have another retreat coming up in the fall of 2023 that I can't wait to share with you. More details to come. Let me know in the comments what you're going to do to reset, and I will see you all real soon. Life Redesigned. We're going to grow through what we go through this year, 2023. Here we come.